You sign up for a film race, you made a film, but you didn't finish. What now? Depends on where you think the hang-up was. So did things start going wrong in scripting to where you just couldn't land on an idea, you weren't filming, still writing? That would be an instance where maybe go into the weekend with the kind of film you want to make, even though you might be picking a random genre or character, like what's the tone I want, like what style of film or what vibe do I want from it. So we know that gives you some context to go around. If your problem was in production, that's a tough one because you're kind of working with the sun in a lot of ways, unless you're doing like a night shoot. But the sun is a pretty good reminder of like, we're behind schedule, let's get this in the can, quick. So rarely will you just keep shooting. The biggest one I think where people go wrong is post-production, and not leaving enough time for all those little finishing tasks that add up. Exporting is the big joke, right? Like watching it render while you run out of time. So making sure that having enough people or you're resting enough to where you can, get the movie far enough edited before you fall asleep, so you know that you aren't going to wake up to just a bunch of clips still and like, what is this even going to be?
Yeah, post-production is the easiest point to just kind of go, I give up, because you're exhausted. You're usually alone.
Yes, it's very lonely.
Yeah, it's a very lonely time. Production day is usually fun. You have all the people there, and even if you're not really sure what you're making, you're still with your people and doing fun things. And then post-production, a lot of times it might just be you. It might be you and one other person, or it might be you and a couple people, but you're separated by miles. So that's a really hard time to dig in.
It's where the reality of all your mistakes come into sharp focus that you're having to fix. You're like, I made that mistake. I should have done that. And it's an easy place to get discouraged.
We've had a couple friends that didn't finish because the weekend just ended up, they had some personal issues or some things going on in their life that they just weren't able to do it that weekend.
Weren't in the right headspace.
Yeah, and that's totally okay to recognize that and to just take a step back and say, you know what, we're not gonna do this. And even if you don't finish filming, you run out of time, an actor doesn't show up, a location falls through and you only have half your footage, my encouragement would still be to try and submit something. Even if it's an unfinished idea, you make it some sort of ethereal something doesn't really make sense. Just giving some sort of finished product, I think, is still worthwhile. It's a short form, so you could even make it like to be continued, make it real cliffhanger or something. I don't know.
The Great British Baking Show always presents something to the judges, even if it's melted ice cream. Don't throw it in the bin.
Even if you deem your weekend a failure, look at what you did accomplish. If maybe you just didn't stick the landing or just didn't quite pull it off the way you wanted to, just due to time constraints or crew or cast constraints, like maybe though you had this gem of an idea, this spark that you're excited about, and now you can take that inspiration and go and make something really great out of it. And I would say that's not a failure then. Well, thanks for watching. Join us next time, because we're going to be talking on the next episode about you turn your film in, but you actually don't like it, and what to do next.